one of the things about Bitcoin or about trading in financial markets, and we just cut out, hopefully I'm back. One of the things, you can make a price prediction, but not a time. Okay. So over time, I know what price I believe Bitcoin goes to, but I can't tell you when, or it would be foolish for me to predict an exact time. All I do know is these 10-year cycles are getting more severe and they're getting more compressed. So I would say, knock on wood, I hope I live for the next 20 years. I believe it will be within my lifetime. I have talked about a price target I have, and it's a very rational price target in my opinion, which is over $2 million US per Bitcoin in today's dollars. Is it 100% certainty? Not in the slightest, but the market is currently pricing it at such a low probability that I have the correct price target that I'm like, hey, ship it in. I think my odds are way better than the odds that the market is giving me for that potential outcome to come true. If you own 0 Bitcoin, you are taking far more risk than if you own, I'm going to throw out 0 to 5%. So own 5% of Bitcoin. And then don't focus on the price of Bitcoin every day. You still have 95% of your portfolio in other stuff that is more risky than the insurance policy that's Bitcoin. It's very hard to get that through people's heads, okay? They are human by nature. They focus on their winners, okay? And they sell their winners rather than doing the opposite. Sell your losers. Things like global bonds. When global bonds were negative yielding in Europe, that's not an asset anymore, Leah. That's a liability. Yet people still put their money in assets that provided a negative return. What kind of foolish behavior is that? These are a bunch of sheep running over the cliff all at the same time.
It's interesting. So these 10-year cycles, these different crises, they are, you said, becoming worse and closer together. So rather than waiting for 2030, you think like 2025, there's going to be another kind of difficulty going on. Sorry to ask, but yeah.
Yes, I do. I think it's a high likelihood, but I can't say for sure. But the smart money would say yes, there is.
How does Bitcoin fix that though? So when does this decoupling happen?
Research. Well, here, I can't tell you, but again, it starts with research like the research that was done by Fidelity. Now, Fidelity is a top 5 global asset manager. Imagine if you're the other 4 asset managers that compete with Fidelity within the top 5, and they offer a Bitcoin silo, and the other 4 don't. Well, any large asset allocator has relationships with all 4 of those all 5 of the top 5. It's not hard for them to switch. Imagine if a country like Canada, my hometown or home country, decided to use Bitcoin to price our oil and natural gas. Well, I think it makes sense as an engineer. And once that happens, the adoption continues across the world. Now, I'm not saying that Canada is going to do this, but a smart sovereign nation that is energy resource rich, maybe Russia, for example, because they don't have a love on for the US petrodollar right now. Can you imagine if they start pricing their energy in Bitcoin? And then the asset managers say, damn, I got to get me some of that. Because I think of Bitcoin as digital energy, not digital gold. So that's why I have a problem with the inflation narrative. So much like Michael Saylor, he's a really smart engineer. I'm an okay engineer, but we still understand the law of conservation of energy. And that's why I love the Bitcoin narrative.
Let's go have a look at Bitcoin. What are you seeing, Gareth? What are you seeing in the charts?
So basically, beautiful breakout here on Bitcoin. You can see this level here, which is 21.8, which was the level that it basically was hammering against, going all the way really back to when it broke down and made the lowest point back in June, right? So we got the close yesterday. We were getting continuation, which looks like it's confirming the move. And it looks to me like we'll head up to this 25.5 level. To me, that's the big level next, at least the next target. I do think there's a chance we go through that, maybe all the way as high as about 28.5. But again, for me at least, I'm in the position of where whether it's 25.5 or 28.5, I'm not thinking that we get through that high level. And I think there still is some more downside. Now, I am still currently long Bitcoin. I did take some profits today. FTT, I pulled my profits there. Avalanche, I took some profits there, but I still have some Ethereum long. I still have some Bitcoin long. I still have some Cardano, Polkadot, Chainlink. So I still have some exposure as we ride this wave. But again, it's not a long-term play for me. This is a shorter-term play up into these resistance levels. Once we get there, I'll be looking to take profits and basically rinse and repeat. And that's what I've done for so long. It's worked out very well. My few things that bother me about the potential low being in is that we still haven't seen enough disruption in the overall crypto market. So, you know, you go to coins, they've all been discounted, some of them 95%, some of them 90%. Even Ethereum is down significantly, although the bounce has been just absolutely awesome on Ethereum. But how can this many coins still exist? And if this is the bottom and now we're headed up, how does that work? How do we have so many coins in the system at that point? So for me, that's one of the issues. And also looking back and comparing it to the .com era, you haven't seen that full capitulation. I mean, we did see fear when we were below the 2017 highs, but we didn't see that all out, like throw your hands up in the air, crypto's over kind of mentality, which is usually what notes the bottom. In fact, 2018, that was very similar to what we saw. We saw this kind of, you know, oh my goodness, Bitcoin no more kind of thought. And then that was the bottom at 3,500. So, and then my other issue would be is even though I do think the Fed, like you said, is going to essentially stop hiking by later this year and probably even start easing in 2023, the question is, why are they doing that? And my guess is you're starting to see a real destructive event going on in the economy, right? And if you see the NASDAQ starting to really collapse down, and I don't think the NASDAQ's bottomed by any stretch, I think it's got to go down 40-50% at minimum. What you're saying is that you'll see a pivot in Bitcoin where it starts to strengthen when the NASDAQ and the stocks actually go down, which I actually agree eventually that happens. I just don't know if this is the time frame where that happens. So I think that, you know, it's definitely a possibility. If there's one thing, you know, just like Game of Thrones, if there's one thing I know nothing, kind of, you know, nothing Jon Snow, right? You have to respect the charts, that they're the ones that are always right and you just don't know. But for me, I'd be amazingly surprised if all of a sudden it's the new bull run and here we go to the upside. Now, I will show this. I do have a level that I'm watching. If we take out this level and confirm, then I would tend to agree with you on that, right? So if you connect the high from 69,000 here to this high, notice how this line is right around 30,000 right now. It will slope down right into this 28,000 area probably in about a month or so, right? Now, if we somehow get above that, then that is a breakout on the charts. That would get my attention. And I think that would be the one case where I would say, okay, now I actually kind of do believe that the bottom is in, and now we could go back to 69, 70, 80, 100,000 on Bitcoin. But until then, we're still in a pretty steep downtrend. And really, if you look at this move, even if we go up to 25, 26, or even 28, that's all an inside bar bearish pattern from this move down, or better yet, even from this move down.